Most recently, I've been looking at groups for men who have committed domestic violence, whose families are involved with child welfare. And what's important to them is to know that they are valuable in their families' lives. Know that for their children to have better lives, they need to change how they're relating. And so an example that often stands out to me is a man who had been in the group for a while, had been learning about ways of parenting, something that he just didn't have the background in terms of how do you parent your children. And he was out walking with his child. A neighbor came over, and then his daughter said to the neighbor, "Daddy isn't mean anymore." He felt embarrassed, but he also felt good. And it helped him to really stick with a process that was not easy. And an example that really stands out to me is a family group conference in North Carolina, where in the beginning of the meeting, the service providers were there. They were laying out what their concerns were. The family was able to ask questions. The social workers said, these are some of the things you need to talk about, and develop a plan, and then come back out. During what is called the family private time, the family has the opportunity among themselves, and I'm talking about many different generations, and the particular family group conference included the great-grandmother, and she spoke about her grandmother being a slave, and now looking at how many great-great-grandchildren there are and how well they were doing, but also that there was that impact of the oppression and learning how to remember what survivors the family has been, and that they can bring those strengths to figuring out some good plans for the children in the family. And that's where people know their own history in ways that service providers never will and don't need to, but do need to be respectful.